This week's episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Squarespace,
GameV.com,
and GoDaddy.
Please listen. We've got one or two things to say.
Tell us both of them!
Look, you got it all wrong! You don't need to follow us!
You don't need to follow anybody. You've got to think for yourselves. You're all individuals.
Yes, we're all individuals!
You're all different.
Yes, we're all different!
I'm not.
You've all got to work it out for yourselves!
Yes, we all gotta work it out for ourselves!
Exactly.
Three rad dudes with nothing better to do get abducted by the crew of the Starship Alpha 2. They're from the planet Q, which, due to a space-time loop, is stuck in 82 and must be rescued. They need our heroes to discuss the latest news and give their reviews of games and movies too. Sure hope you're not confused. We swear this is all true, not just the premise to the Totally Rad Show.
Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad Show.
Hello and welcome to the Totally Rad Show, episode number 71. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
And we are at Comic-Con!
USA! USA!
I think it's in TRS.
Oh, TRS, I love it! Love it! Love it!
I would like to point out that as awesome as that chant was, Alex actually thought you were saying USA.
You know why? I am a patriot, sir, not a communist like you are. Let's go divvy up our money and go to McDonald's. What? That's not even communism. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right. Okay, first off, a couple things, as I'm sure you guys are aware. There's no green screen behind us. I know.
So we don't have a background.
That's how we felt.
But each of you has our background for this week. If you got it coming in, yes. Yes. Hold them up if you got them.
Nice.
Epic.
Nice.
That is an original piece of art by Dennis Calero, who is a freaking awesome comic artist. And so that is our attempt to have a background this week instead of putting one behind us.
Yes.
Okay?
We're super excited to be here. Second year at Comic-Con, and I must say, more rad.
Yes.
Way more rad.
Well, I would like to thank everybody who's here because you guys know that last year when we were at Comic-Con, we were in a panel much like this one, and I turned to these guys and I went, you know what? Next year we should be up there. And it's only because of you people that that has happened, so thank you.
So we have a crap ton of stuff to talk about. We're actually going to do something unprecedented. We are going to do a movie section, a video game section, a TV section, and a comic section. That is what we're doing. How could we not? Wait.
That is precedented. We have done that before.
I don't think we have, Dan.
When we did the year-end,
That's not arguing.
year-end show.
There's
Do I have to
people
talk like
watching
this? Can I go like this?
Stop it.
I have to
I'm
do
going to
like
box
this?
your ears.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I feel like I'm doing karaoke.
So,
All right, so
Okay.
I think it's time to get into the show.
All right, let's get into the show, shall we? Nice.
here we go. This week in movies, we are talking about Step Brothers.
You know, funny thing, we actually are talking about Step
We are.
Brothers. We got to see a screening, but we're gonna do. What did you want
Like
to
a
do?
second. We're gonna all say like 1 minute, one sentence review of Step Brothers, and then get into all the craziness that's going on at Comic-Con.
Okay.
So, I will say, I think it's the
Oh, you're
funniest
starting first
movie.
now?
I'm just doing it because, you know,
Dude, this is like the precedent-setting show.
I need to set the tone. Step Brothers, I think, is the funniest movie of the summer so far, and I think it totally nails childhood.
Wow.
Dan Trachtenberg, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Dan breaks the show.
Yeah.
Don't become a man.
What did you think, Alex?
God darn it. All right, first off, I thought it was mostly crap until I left. And I can't... No, I'm serious. This is one of those movies, and it's very rare. I don't know if there's any other movie that's been like this. I walked out going, actually mad at Dan. Because Dan was like, oh, I don't think we'll actually talk about it on the show. And I was like, oh, I just wasted that much time of my life for nothing? And then later, the genius hit me. It's actually really, really funny. And we can't stop quoting it. So I'm going to say...
Catalina wine
see
mixer.
it.
Catalina wine mixer.
Fucking Catalina wine mixer, people.
Excellent
You guys
one-sentence
will all
review.
know that soon.
That was an excellent one-sentence review.
Thank you.
Alex.
It was what we call a run-on sentence.
I think that Step Brothers is a hilarious Dumb and Dumber 3. If you like Dumb and Dumbers, it's really funny.
Was that a
It's
comma?
very
You like the
Was that a
second
comma?
one?
Was that a comma?
I didn't even see the second one, to be honest with you, but
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah.
I think I just realized that hitting our hands on the table
Causes
makes
terrible
loud
sounds.
noises.
All right.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Good.
Moving on.
Moving on.
So we're gonna talk about as much as we possibly can of all the movie stuff we've been seeing, but of course the big thing to talk about is Watchmen.
Yes.
How many people were at the Watchmen panel this morning? A little
Nice.
bit less.
How many people have seen the trailer?
How many people are excited to see that effing movie? How many people want us to ask how many people know more through this panel? Oh, good, we can ask more. I worded it really weird, so I tricked people.
I want to know how many people have read the comic. So it's less than are excited about the movie, which is interesting because it seems to me that the movie is being hyped not because of any stars, not because of any real plot points. It's being presented as the next big spectacle, which it clearly looks like it's going to be.
Yeah.
And how cool Zack Snyder is. But
Well, I mean, I
really,
think
other
that-
than that, what are the linchpins that it's...
Well, first off, Billy Crudup. I mean, there are stars in this movie. I mean, they may not be, our people, but I mean, we all love them.
Our people?
Good. I mean, I'm a Billy Crudup fan.
Yeah, but no one's bankable.
Bank? Oh,
Bankable.
bank.
Bankable.
Bankable.
That's what
I was like, Silk Spectre.
Yeah.
Ew.
But all the women in the movie are bangable.
Yeah.
Bankable? I don't know.
How do you feel? We talked a little bit about the trailer last week, but not too much. But now we
Right.
saw this morning for people. We saw basically some of the shots
4
from the trailer,
minutes.
but a little bit
Extended.
more, and it was very violent. It was sort of the R-rated trailer, you could say.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it now, Jack?
Well, we got to see most of the cast was on stage in Hall H, and Zack Snyder was there. And I was mad at people at all the panels we saw today when they turned away from the mic, and I'm doing it now myself. So I have
Dude, look at me. Look at me. When you're talking to me about Watchmen.
Here's the thing that was so cool about that presentation for me was Dave Gibbons was there, who's the artist of the comic. And if you guys have seen our review of Watchmen on the show, you know that like many people, for me, Watchmen is the pinnacle of comics. So for me, I just want Watchmen to be as good an experience, and it seems like, as the comic was, and it seems like everybody involved in the movie feels the same way. And when they were done showing the new footage from the movie, they cut to Dave Gibbons' face, and he was red in the face and smiling, and it honestly made me choke up a little bit. It was like, this guy is seeing the things that he drew exactly how he wants to see them, and he expressed such a pleasure at being part of it that...
It was actually really great hearing him talk about being able to stand in the center of these things that, I mean, I'm sure you were repeating everything that you guys already heard, and he said it way better than me, but the fact that he could stand in, like, something he envisioned in his mind, and that he was there in those locations, and he was saying that, like, the owl...
Night Owl, yeah.
It was like, whoa, mind-blowing, which is...
And we saw Dan, the Night Owl, when he's not Night Owl, the sort of pathetic, sad version of
Looked
him.
great.
And it was awesome. It was so right out of the book. And you could just tell that there was going to be that morose sorrow that the book conveys so well.
Are you nervous about anything? Are you totally stoked?
Well, what I said in last week's episode about the sort of cool factor of everything, I'm still a little worried. But then they show those shots of the old team, and and they're really in those handmade costumes, and it just looks spot on.
What about you, dude?
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Good, baby.
Cool.
Could you please repeat the question?
Hey, Alex, is this the first live show that you've ever done where you're not completely hammered?
Yes. That's what it is. I was like, why do people have faces? I'm wearing pants still.
It's so much. What is this?
What do you think? What do you think in Watchmen?
I mean, you know, I as I'm sure you guys remember from my review of Watchmen, I liked it. I didn't love it. You know, it was a little sort of heady for me, and it was a good step into.
No,
Heady.
no, go on.
I will take
Happening.
I would take my pants off. That's a threat. I love it. Oh. Well, that is. Anyway. So for me, you know, I just was like, well, if it's going to be Watchmen, the book, you know, but the movie version, you know, am I going to like it? This is, and this is going to be horrible when I say this, but it reminded me a little of Step Brothers. Watching it made me realize how amazing the comic was. Seeing all this stuff, hearing
Because
everybody
Step Brothers
talk.
was a comic?
No, I mean like ex post facto. After reading the comic, you know, it was like reading Killing Joke and then seeing Dark Knight, and all of a sudden I was like, Killing Joke equals genius. I get it. You know what I mean? And I was happy I read it, and I feel like that's what this movie is going to be for me. Is even though I've read the book and I like the book, I just wasn't bowled over by the book. I think watching this movie is going to make me realize what a genius the book really is. So I'm actually really excited to see it, because also it's making me excited to see it, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I excited to see this movie? You know what I mean? Like, just like any other movie, I should be like, oh yeah, this is probably going to be a good movie. But I mean, I get those chills that everybody gets when they see stuff about the Watchmen.
Well, Dan, you didn't like the comic, right?
I was just gonna say I'm like the second guy on the planet to not like Watchmen.
Yeah, I beat up and killed the first guy, so.
Yeah,
Dan Bachtenberg.
but I am a huge Zack Snyder fan, and I am so excited for this movie. But I think that the things that I am most excited about also are a little bit of concerns, because he has now applied. Dawn of the Dead was not made this way, but 300 and Watchmen both are made in this very, like, painterly, deliberate, style. You know, they're and I find it a little bit alienating. Like, I feel very cold. Like, I don't really empathize in 300, and from what I'm seeing of the trailer, and this is all presumptuous, but like, it's hard for me to, I don't see truth. You know, I don't feel like, I so get that guy, I'm following his story. I'm just feeling, I'm seeing a collage of imagery. 300 really felt like a really long trailer, and I don't even mean that in a negative way. I kind of mean that in like, we're seeing a movie that's made unlike any other movie, and Watchmen feels that way as well, but you know, Watchmen is a little bit more of a complex story, and
It's interesting to me because I think that's similar to your criticism of the comic, right? It felt cold and, you know.
So basically, it's nailing the tone of the comic, which you dislike.
yeah,
Which is
I rest
good.
my case.
yeah.
What's the booing? Who's the booing?
That-
No, it's just general Dan.
That's
It was
awesome.
just
All right.
general Dan.
So anyway,
Bowie.
that's Watchmen. I am now gonna bring up. We saw a cubic poop ton.
Let's be clear, you're not getting a phone call right now.
No,
I'm not.
he's
I have a
making sure
list.
we
I have a
talk about
list.
everything.
So I'm gonna go through a list of the movies we saw by section, and you guys talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
So
Like
the first
Andy
day
or something?
we saw The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah.
And Max Payne, and we're getting the rap book. All right, but we're gonna push on, bro.
Comic-Con. Comic-Con.
Day the Earth
Push
Stood
on.
Still. Day the Earth Stood Still, Max Payne, and you know, lo and behold, it was not on the schedule, but Hugh Jackman showed up with
Awesome!
Best thing.
with Wolverine.
Yeah. Amazing.
So Day the Earth Stood Still is Keanu Reeves. It's classic 50s. Even if you guys haven't seen the movie, I guarantee you've seen the famous shot
Take
with
me to your leader.
the spaceman
Yeah.
coming off. And Klaatu Barada Nikto was not Ash from Army of Darkness. That was him referencing this movie. So it's a huge 50s sci-fi flick. Sorry. And
Just scoot it up, dude. Just
Yeah, scoot it up.
well, it's
You're
sort of
an
like
adult.
Juice it up.
Yeah, juice it.
juice it up. I like it. So And Scott Derrickson, who did Exorcism of Emily Rose,
Which is
doing
a
the flick.
screwed up movie if you haven't seen it. Woof.
What did you guys think? Let me just. Max Payne is John Moore, who did Behind Enemy Lines and frickin'
Things.
Flight of the Phoenix.
Flight of the Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
And the Omen remake. But he also did the badass. Remember the Sega like 2020 commercials back in the day for like Dreamcast?
Oh yeah,
Remember
Dreamcast 7.
those?
Was it
I think it was
Dreamcast
Sony.
7? No, it was
Wasn't
Sony.
Sony PlayStation 9.
Yeah, PlayStation 9.
PlayStation 9. You're right. He did those
Big surprise.
freaking awesome commercials.
Just look at Anakin. And
I
your soul
cried.
cries a little.
Yeah. So that's the guy who's bringing us Max Payne, starring Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
And
Max Payne, the video game.
Yes. I was a huge fan of
Which-
Max Payne.
interesting-
The first Xbox video game I ever had that made me go, oh, you can do that on a console? Ha.
Interesting.
It was, dude. That was.
I
that
like
blew my
those
mind
games.
grapes.
I like those
Blew my
games. I
mind
played them on the
grapes.
PC. The both games were fun, but the basis for a movie?
Oh, well, now
And then
anything's
everybody
based
on
on
the
a movie.
everybody on the panel seems so interested in preserving the great story of the game, but it's basically guy's wife is killed and he loses it. I mean, it's basically Punisher.
Didn't that game feel like a rip-off of movies? Like even
Yeah.
the bullet time sequence in the game was just a
Well,
rip-off.
it was presented like a graphic novel,
So-
actually. You know, they had those panels that were sort of slightly animated, but
Well, but let's talk about the movie.
yeah.
Right.
no.
So I'm saying it's so weird.
I was excited about it.
Were you?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right.
I don't know why. This is one of those ones
neither.
where I'm just like, you know what? This is just gonna be a fun movie. I don't know what the hell to say about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was more excited for that than I was for The Day the Earth Stood Still, which
Oh god,
looked
that
like
looks like poop.
You know,
not good.
The Day the Earth Stood Still is basically an intelligent version of every other movie that it's similar to.
Yes.
It's the remake.
Yes.
And
How do you know it's intelligent?
well, from the
New.
scenes that we saw, actually, they showed
didn't
a
think it looked
serious
intelligent.
scene, and I thought that it was saying
might just
some
be
good
Keanu.
stuff. Yeah. Anyway, Wolverine.
Yeah.
So Wolverine, interesting.
Huge.
Gavin Hood, he won an Academy Award for Tsotsi, which I didn't really care for that much, but it was this like South African foreign film, kind of City of God-ish, is directing Wolverine, which is Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
and
Liev Schreiber.
Liev Schreiber. Who else was people?
Deadpool was in it.
I think Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Was that true? Yeah.
Really?
Okay, I'm a huge fan of his in a totally straight way.
Great.
What did you guys think of Wolverine?
Well, I mean that.
It blew the house down, man.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Well, for me, I mean, like, I liked the X-Men movies. I mean, I loved X-Men 1, but and I liked X-Men 2 and 3, even though some of them are bad. But for me, the thing that I loved about X-Men was always Wolverine. It was always Hugh Jackman, and you know, when other like this, you know, Scott Summers was on, I was like, really, this guy? Okay, nice Oakleys, dude. You know what I mean? Like, Femke Jansen, I'll look because you're hot, and then you're a Phoenix. Cool. But like, you know, although Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. Anyway. To me, this is like the icing off of the X-Men 3 cake that I get to shove in my face like late night and then wake up in the morning and go, why did I see that? And Hugh Jackman, talk about the nicest guy on the frickin' planet. I mean, talk about tearing up when he got out and shook Len Weissman's hand.
Yeah,
And
it was awesome.
thanked him.
Len Wein?
Len Wein.
Len Weissman is the
Who's
director
Len
of
Weissman?
Underworld and Live Free.
Oh
or Die
yes,
Hard.
which I also
Crap.
love, but that's a different story. Kate Beckinsale. When he got up and shook the creator's hand and said, I have a career because of you, that to me just it blew me away. I was like, that guy gets it. You know what I mean? Like, what other actor is going to shake the guy's hand who created a comic book character and is the reason why this guy's the huge star? You know what
And
I
the
mean?
movie looked kick-ass, man.
Yes.
It really looked like a new X-Men movie. I mean, it's Wolverine by himself without, you know, Professor
Other X-Men?
X and all the other X-Men, but there are a ton of mutants in it still. It's not like Wolverine fights.
Jubilee.
Did you see Jubilee? I didn't see Jubilee. I saw lots of
No,
people.
Gambit.
The Gambit.
Gambit, guys.
Yeah, right? When you saw those cards come out, I was like,
Yeah. So I wasn't really excited about this movie when I heard about it
Stop having
happening because it
secrets.
felt like
I agree.
kind of the weak spin-off, but the footage looked awesome.
Yeah. You know, some of it looked awesome, some of it didn't to me.
In what way?
Like, I mean, it's rough. There's a lot of rough stuff, but I don't think you can have trailer, let alone a movie where a guy is walking away from an explosion in slow motion and not like look. You know what I mean? Like that is the most hackneyed shot in an action movie. And
You didn't like it in my short film, Walking Away Slowly from Explosions?
I loved it in the short film, and that's why I
That's
don't
true,
like
because
it
I was
anymore.
using it ironically.
All right, we saw so much else.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Quick.
Yeah. What of the rest
The
of the stuff
knowing
that we saw?
or knowing.
Knowing.
That was the
Knowing
biggest surprise for
Okay.
me.
Wow.
Because I heard we heard what was going to be in the panel that we were in, and Nick Cage at this point is almost a detriment to me when I hear he's going to be in a movie
I
because
concur.
he's really hot and cold. He's really Dan's famous
Right.
from
Next. Yeah.
Next.
Love it.
And boy, this looks like a really refined performance, really subdued, underplayed
What's it
performance.
about? It's directed by Alex Proyas, who did The Crow and Dark City.
Dude, Dark City.
But
Dark City is.
But then did
bomb movie.
iRobot and a movie called Garage Days, which wasn't very good.
I don't know.
But
Look,
Dark
I
City.
didn't hate iRobot. I'm gonna go out there and
That's
say
cool, that's
Will
cool.
Smith kicking butt, robots.
And what's it about, Chef?
It's about a guy whose son goes to a time. You do like a time capsule in school. And you put something in for 50 years.
It's not
and
about
then,
any of this. Any of
A
these
guy
things.
whose son goes in time and
no. There's a time
happens.
capsule at the kid's school.
Yes.
They dig it up. It's a letter that was written 50 years ago, and it's just a series of numbers. And those numbers happen to correspond to catastrophic events in history where people have died, and it predicts the next few. And so he starts freaking out, and it looks like an incredible thriller, mystery.
Smart.
It does look smart.
Smart.
There's ciphers.
I was
Yeah,
really
I like
I was
ciphers.
really unexcited when we heard that we were going to be seeing that trailer, and the trailer won me over big time.
Oh,
Interesting.
everything Jeff said.
It couldn't have won you over as much as the trailer that
No.
you didn't see.
So this is what happens at Comic-Con.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is what happens at Comic-Con. You leave Hall H.
Never leave Hall
or
H.
Because-
Dan Hall.
Because I want to see some comic book news
Comic book
at
news,
Comic-Con.
And how do you get rewarded but Dan calling up Dan and him going, oh God, guys, Jeff Bridges, I can't.
It's really loud in here, but the most amazing thing just happened.
Here's what happened.
So talk about it.
So
We'll
I'm
step
at the
back.
panel for Race to Witch Mountain, which is the remake of Escape to Witch Mountain, or not even a remake.
a great movie.
It's just a, if you guys remember Escape to Witch Mountain, the old Disney flicks.
It's like Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
The Rock
Escape
is in
from
it.
Mountain.
I have to say, it looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like a kid's movie. Like, you know how you felt when you saw Daryl or Cloak and Dagger back in the day? You watch them now, they're not so good. This feels like how you felt back in the day when you first saw those movies. Like, it feels like and they kept on referencing like 48 Hours and Born.
All right, so there you
Okay.
were, this young mild
Race to Witch
boy.
Mountain was cool. And then it's Disney, and then they're like, we have something we're gonna show you guys that no one's gonna see for the next like 2 years. Disney logo pops on, and I'm like, okay, next Pixar movie maybe, interesting, I'm down. And then that Disney logo becomes like black and white and like digital, and then we're in this
Big fan of black and white and digital.
this all black, shiny,
Willie remake.
shiny surface. All black, shiny surface city world. Badass dude in his black suit. Neon blue on his black suit. Visor like Battlestar Galactica or like the Abyss, like those visors with the lights and you see his face. And it goes up against the wall and there's like no one coming. He runs, jumps up in the air, grabs a glow stick, it seems, from his pocket. Glow stick comes in front of him like this, turns into a light cycle in mid-air.
Light cycle!
And what ensues is basically Tron 2, the trailer for Tron 2, and the recreation of the light cycle action sequence. At the end of this, we've seen old, gritty, dirty, badass Jeff Bridges doing like yoga at one point. Awesome though.
No, but picture it. That sounds funny.
his thing-
Then
the
you
bike's
picture it and you
going-
go,
Yoga? Really? Yoga? He was like doing downward facing dog?
No,
He was like, he
leg
was
thing.
meditating.
The leg thing.
The leg thing.
The leg
He was
thing,
sitting
yes.
Indian style.
yes, that.
Yoga. Dan clearly does a lot of that We Fit is at Alex's house, right?
yeah. It is.
But anyway,
And
by
there's
the
no
end of the
Indian style.
trailer, the light cycles go through that crack in the wall, just like it did in the original, and the dude crashes, and he's like, I thought it was just a game. And Jeff Bridges, young Jeff Bridges, by the way, CG young Jeff Bridges, takes his Tron Deadly Disc, punches the guy in the face and says, "Not anymore." Tron 2.
Crazy. Crazy.
You know what though?
And
I didn't make it.
You know what though, Dan? Grant Morrison and Matt Fraction had some really interesting things to say.
Did they show anything, or were they just talking?
They were talking about the business. And
Sounds good. I like business, but
it was really interesting.
cool. Remember your childhood? Remember when you saw really awesome movies then?
Comics were in my childhood.
Dude, I wanted to see
Anyway,
Tron. I was
do it.
mad.
That's movies.
All right. Love it.
Epic.
Where's Ed Boon? We saw him earlier.
We did see Ed Boon. Okay, so this week in video games, we're talking about the stuff that we saw that was playable here at Comic-Con. And strangely enough, last week was E3 and we saw a ton of games, but there were games that we saw there that were only videos that here we could actually play, which I find odd being the next week.
Yeah, although somebody made a good point, I think it was Eddie, who said it's cheaper because less people are here, but the same core press that you want to hit is here, so you can throw the same party on a smaller scale to have playable games.
Cool.
all
cheaper,
right.
cheaper. Cool.
Cheaper,
Interesting.
cheaper. I don't know.
Interesting
Just
industry
a
insight
theory.
from Alex.
This mic is louder than the others.
So,
The first game that we got to see hands-on this time was the DC Universe MMO. Did anybody else play it on the show floor?
a showing of hands, very polite.
Very polite.
Very polite,
Very
guys.
well, very good. None
So,
of this loud
did you
clapping
guys
other panels.
like it? By show of applause, like it? Yeah. Not like it?
A smattering of applause.
Interesting.
Interesting.
A very divided. A house divided shall not stand. What did you think of it, Dan?
Okay. Clearly, it's an MMO first and an action game second. Different than how I thought it was going to be when we saw. Are we hearing? Yeah. When we
gotta talk louder.
When we saw the stuff at E3, I thought it was like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but an MMO. You know what I
Right.
mean?
They definitely pitched it as this is an action game.
Clearly, Agency is going to be like action game first, or for FPS
Shooter first.
Right.
This
FPS
is more
first,
like-
and then MMO second, and this really is MMO first. But though I was less excited about that, I'm still freaking down, dude. I think it's awesome. I really, I love the idea of playing an MMO on my console, which this is going to give me for the first time.
Yeah.
Me for the
Unless
first time.
Agency comes out first, which it
Okay,
probably will.
True. I love doing superpowers. I love the idea that I can freeze someone and then you can come in and like eye blast them and then
Or pick them up in their ice block and throw them at someone.
and run up buildings and around them
like
and
Scotty
and
over here.
you can fight.
Buildings?
You can
What about
fight
the other
people.
guy? Check out.
I mean,
Okay.
honestly, the biggest thought to me is you can fight people on the sides of buildings. And while you're doing that, like some fast flash guy can just run right by you, and that's a dude who's just like saving someone else in the city.
Another player, you mean?
Yeah.
Or dude.
Or
for-
dude, or
in the parlance of our times.
Female, yes.
Alex, were you excited or not excited or Mr.
All right, let's-
Wow?
Let me just put my superiority hat here on my love of WoW. New MMO, huh? All right. 13 million play mine. Let's see what yours can do. I love that it's mine. Like I created it. God, I wish I created that. Right? That'd be freaking awesome. If you were like, yeah, I make WoW. 13 million people play my thing.
I'd be like, hey, Alex, can I get a free
Get a
subscription to
check.
WoW?
Can I have some
Buy my
stock
sandwich.
share?
All right, okay, let's get serious. Seriously. I don't know. I always hesitate with new MMOs because I started with Star Wars Galaxies, which was like the love child that then turned and beat me. And then I went to D&D Online as an avid D&D player myself, and then that just wasn't all that great, which is too bad. And then found WoW, and I've been playing WoW for years now. Which is sort of makes me sad to say that in the world. So I come into these new MMOs with a very specific lens of somebody who plays MMOs, and I have to say, I always get afeared, and I was very afeared in E3 when people go, well, this is like we're doing an MMO, but it's like an action game, so it's not really like an MMO, but it's like ooh, And I'm always like, well, but all right, why are you doing that? And when I finally got hands-on with this game, everything that I sort of was semi-concerned about was true. You know, I mean, it was like an okay action game. It was not like as good as any action game that I've played recently. You know what I mean? Like it was just a good action game. If this was just an action game, we would probably go, it's just shovelware, you know, DC slapped onto, you know, some action game.
True. I felt that truth.
Thank you. I'm glad that it's my truthsicles.
Yeah.
They're like icicles.
An episode has a name.
Like icicles. And there's the name of the episode. So then to slap on the MMO thing, I feel like, okay, but I mean, why then? So I don't know. I'm still torn. I played it. I enjoyed playing it, but I don't know. The other thing that is hard for me is when they're like I say, okay, DC MMO. The first thing that comes to your mind is, oh yes, I get to be Batman. I get to be Superman. I get to be these characters with these great powers that I know and I love, and then they go, okay, well, no. Which I get, because you can't have like 30,000 Supermans running around. So I get that. But then it's like, what do I get to be? It's like, you get to be a superhero, okay? And then you get to choose like one power. It's like, okay.
I think there's a variety of powers that you get to choose.
I know, but then it's like this layer of like, so I can run fast, and then somehow I'm connected to Earth, and that's sort of my guy is Earth fast running guy. Like,
that's called creativity, sir.
To me, that's like that doesn't do my creative juices didn't get, and the guys that they showed, and I assumed, which maybe I assumed incorrectly, but my assumption was they would make the most creative and specific characters that you could possibly make and show those as the people that you played. And I felt like the people that they had me play were the most generic, lamest, like a guy who runs fast and looks...
You have no connection to that character.
I know.
So maybe...
I don't know. So anyway,
exactly.
I'm afeared. I'm afeared. A lot like...
Don't be a crybaby, Alex. Thank you. Thank you for that astute point.
I got owned by a 6-month-old. Again.
Yeah, that's your love child that's gonna beat you up later.
I know.
Jeff just won that round. You won.
What did you think?
I was very excited to come out of E3. I think I mentioned it on last week's episode, how excited I was because we talked to the developers and they seemed to say all the right stuff. Like they really get the universe, they're fans, they want to make an action game. And it is a pre-alpha, so there's a lot that can change, but I have to agree a little bit that I was a little bit disappointed playing it just because the fight mechanic didn't have weight to it. You would run up and punch, and it would just be you're slapping meat. You know, well,
what? Okay. That crying baby is doing stuff now that she shouldn't be doing for 12
DC
years.
Universe nailed childhood.
But I mean, there's no like visceral feedback from the punching. There would hit points coming up over the head, but there wasn't.
Totally
and the physics system looks really cool, but again, it didn't feel like it had weight. And maybe all this will improve, maybe it'll get better. But those were my concerns.
Yeah.
That the action part, like you said, you were excited about, didn't really feel like it was there yet.
And I was excited to be blown away. I mean, every time a new MMO comes out, like Warhammer's coming out, I'm really excited to play it. I mean, like for me, that's. As somebody who's a fan of the genre, that's what you want. I want a game that comes in and makes me go, you know what? I'm not going to play WoW right now. I'm going to go and level my...
That's never going to happen.
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, so we also saw a Marvel game. We saw Spider-Man Web of Shadows at Activision, which is really cool. It's the next iteration of the Star Wars Spider-Man. The Spider-Man third-person, flying around the city, kind of open world action game, and it's also, again, very early pre-alpha. It crashed a bunch of times when we were playing it, but that's all going to change. We hope. But the idea on this one is that you play red suit Spider-Man or black suit Venom-y Spider-Man, and you can switch back and forth on the fly. So you can start a combo with your red suit kind of good powers, and then switch really quickly to the like black suit powers.
Red suit's fast and agile, and you're like comboing off of people. So you're doing your web, you're grabbing a guy, you're going towards him, and this rad camera move, and then like it would be like Sam Raimi would shoot it, and then you juggle from him to the next guy, and you're flying all over the place. It looks awesome, and then you hit Venom, and then you're doing power.
And then it's
attacks.
more kind of
damage,
strength-based, brute stuff. What did you think?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. It's really cool because you can like. Very well said.
Thank you all for coming. No, I mean it was great.
The linking of attack, it almost was a little Devil May Cry, kind of like jumping from.
And I really dug. I
enemy.
really dug the it was like this forced bullet time that was so satisfying. Talk about a way to take bullet time and actually make it sort of new.
Unlike Max Payne. Yes.
Unlike Max Payne, although Max Payne sort of started that, but that's okay. Was like louder microphone. So like when you jump up and shoot your webs, if you're shooting your webs at a person, it like slows down into this cool bullet time by default. So it's like this epic. Like
it's almost rhythmic. Like you're like attack and then slow and then attack and then slow. It's really cool, right?
I like your dance you're doing over there.
Thank you. What are you doing later?
It's his web of shadows. He's alluring you with his web of shadows.
Yeah. It's awesome. You're also in this game. You can fight people on the sides of buildings. So clearly, it's
you
a good.
really like this on the sides of buildings thing.
I'll tell you what else is
awesome.
awesome.
Your game and Dan will buy it.
Sides of buildings is the new lens flare.
I'll tell you what else is awesome. It's a new bloom. Yeah, the bloom.
Bloom. Yeah.
HDR or whatever.
It's called lens flare.
Okay.
A bloom. Okay. Go ahead.
I also loved when I thought they were sacrificing what was rad about Spider-Man 2, the game, where it was open world and you could swing anywhere. I thought that was gone because they were doing this cool new fight mechanic, but that is still there, and that's always swinging, as Indiana Jones has proven, is always the coolest thing ever, along with fighting on the sides of buildings. And that's really cool.
All right, and then
Spider-Man looks awesome too.
All right, so and then just real quick on DC versus Mortal Kombat, which we also saw at Midway.
Gorgeous.
I screamed like I screamed back when I was in elementary school playing.
It's very Mortal Kombat-y,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
god, it was so much fun.
It's really Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm a repeating record if people watch the show, but I can't get back into the fighting game thing. I don't.
All right.
I can't find the skill. I can't.
Street Fighter 4 says, "What's up?"
I've actually yet to play that game, which I'm pissed.
It's playable here at Comic-Con, so we're gonna play it before we leave.
All right.
It's amazing.
Shall we?
Amazing.
Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Love it. So, TV plus Comic-Con equals love sandwich. And before we get into some of the cool Comic-Con TV stuff, we have to take a moment and pay homage to the end of an era for our show, which is one of the first TV shows that got us excited about talking about TV shows. That is the series finale of Avatar.
And before we
Not as much love in this room because everyone loves it.
I'm very glad that there is nowhere else we could be learning more about that show right now.
There isn't. I don't think any of the creators or writers or voice actors are in this building.
Or next door to us.
Or next door to us. So we just wanted to say, I kind of wanted to touch base with you guys. Obviously, if you don't know what Avatar is, then you haven't been watching the show, and you better go start watching the show. Avatar it's a Nickelodeon show, but it's more than just a kid's show, at least in our eyes.
Absolutely.
It's a show that's sort of like, I don't even know how to explain the time. It's sort of in this like timeless,
fantasy,
feudal Asia kind of area.
We can never describe it good.
We never describe it good. It's that good a show.
I bet they're doing a great job next door.
I know. I should run over and just get their one line and come back and be like, okay, so the Avatar.
That guy stole our one line.
Yeah. You can't use it in the panel. It's pending. No, go. What?
Are we describing it?
Yeah, let's so you guys know Avatar.
Yeah.
The end happened.
The end happened. Now, who here has seen the end?
Yeah! Everybody who loves it is over there.
I know, it's horrible. All right,
Yeah.
well, let's talk without
His
too
heart
many
was ripped
spoilers.
open.
Oh, dude, ripped open myself.
Well, we can just talk briefly about it because
Yeah.
it's.
What did you guys- what
it
did you
was
think, Jeff?
Amazing. It was the promise that they made at the beginning was completely fulfilled, and it really, for me, is one of the most complete, well-told adventure stories ever. It really is a complete arc that takes 3 seasons, and there's very little wasted time. I mean, I felt like the second to last episode, there was a big 2-hour finale, and then the
I
episode
love
before
that.
Which one?
What a great way to recap this series.
They went-
Oh, the
they
play
went and
one?
saw the play.
And saw play.
I wasn't a
of-
big fan of the play one either.
I thought that was a little bit of wasted time, but very little wasted time in the show. There is so much care taken to establish each of the characters so that you really do have emotional connection to each of them,
Yeah.
so that when the action stuff happens, you're tied into that world and you care and you. It's not empty action like so much of the stuff that we see. It really is tied to
Well, they also
people you love.
They also nail the action. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody out there practices martial arts in any form, but the martial arts choreography in this, and it's a children's show. I mean, that's the thing that blows my mind. This is the thing that makes you go, this can't be just for children. Like the martial arts is so amazing to watch. And Dan, what did you think?
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Oh,
I still say that the first season is the funniest season and that has the coolest action.
Yeah.
But we've kind of said this on the show before, but I think that this, everyone always tries to make like the next Star Wars, like the Matrix wanted to be the next Star Wars, and
Yeah.
for a lot of people, Lord of the Rings is the next Star Wars. But I really think that this is the best trilogy we have after the Star Wars. I think this is the next Star Wars. It's a shame that most people haven't seen it because
Yeah.
it's like what
I think
people
it's very
view as a
popular.
kids cartoon. I know.
Did you see the line?
It's popular, but it really is.
And there's going to be movies, and we just heard today an MMO, a PC MMO based on
Dude.
Avatar, which it seems
That-
so perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
And that was actually what towards the end of this season, I lamented about how bad the shovelware Xbox game was, because I was like,
I enjoyed its achievement points.
no, I know we all enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed the achievement points. Good game. Because when you watch it, you're like, I want to do that, and it's a lot like Star Wars. I'm glad you brought that up because it's like I want to do that. I wish I could bend. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could bend.
Well, you should be using that Wii Fit that is at your house.
Yeah, I have a fused spine, and that has been plaguing me. I wish I could bend. That's horrible. Okay, so that was Avatar. Now we do want to talk about a little project called Dr. Horrible.
Yeah.
It's a big Comic-Con thing. I'm actually excited because the panel, obviously, Dr. Horrible is the Joss Whedon web short film. And
Musical.
Musical.
Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog is the
Yes.
full title.
It's Neil Patrick Harris, Nathan Fillion, and Felicia Day. I would put it in the TV section because they announced at the Dr. Horrible panel that there are going to be more episodes, so this will become a semi-episodic series for the web. So,
I like how we're getting applause.
I know, we did that. We made that happen for you. I called some people, and they were like, who the hell are you?
So did we all love it then?
Well, hold on. Let's not jump to reviewies. But I do want to say one little caveat. Like Dan and his Hellboy connection, I actually know Felicia's a good friend of mine from back in LA. So I'm going to try to be as in case you go like, wait, he knows her at some point, so that's why he said it was whatever.
Well, that means you liked it. That means you liked it.
No, I'm not going to say that. Dan, what did you think?
Amazing.
Could have predicted that one.
I'm totally. Whedon is my master now. I should be wearing that shirt, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Does somebody have that shirt? That is an awesome shirt, by the way.
it's no
All right.
secret if you watch the show Buffy and Firefly are my favorite TV shows ever. They're better than The Shield, in my opinion. Who's with me?
Comic-Con fight.
All right. Who's with me that The Shield is the greatest show ever?
Louder microphone, FTW.
Yeah. All right, there, Dan.
see you in September.
Yeah. So, it's amazing. It's basically like a combination of Once More with Feeling in the Body. If you're fans of Buffy, and if you're not, I didn't spoil anything about the Dr. Horrible for you. It's hysterical and clever and smart and a musical, and it leaves it to Joss Whedon to say something so insightful about relationships and desire with like a supervillain and a superhero. And there's one line that I think sums up everything that's great about Joss Whedon, where they're in the laundromat, Neil Patrick, Dr. Horrible, and the girl he's interested in, played by Felicia Day, and he's like, she's giving him advice, and she's like, everything happens, and he's like, I know, for a reason. And she's like, no, just everything happens. And it's funny, and it's saying something.
Yeah, you go. Oh.
Yeah, you're like, and it starts off as a cliche. Like all of his shows, like all of his stories, they all do the thing that everything of a genre does, and then it turns it on its head. And just that one line does that. And I think that's why Joss Whedon's amazing. Hey, Joss.
He's in the back. He left.
That would be awesome.
Just like 2 seconds ago. Seriously, you guys missed him. So Jeff, what did you think of Dr. Horrible?
I liked it a lot. I was a little disappointed that the brilliant blog aspect that they established so beautifully in the first episode wasn't carried through.
Interesting.
I wish each episode had started with that. Because it was Neil Patrick Harris's performance is awesome, and just holding on that one single shot of him looking right into the camera, it was so great. It reminded me a lot of a book called Soon I Will Be Invincible. I don't know if anybody's read that. The author was here? I love that book. But very similar themes in that book. And I loved the way that the tropes of superheroism and really kind of classic superheroism, it was used in a way that was very grounded in reality, but didn't lose any of the, there's the sort of Dark Knight way to ground things in reality, which is to make them really real. And then there's the other way where it's still got that fantastic element, but it's played almost like mundane or throwaway. And I loved that about it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great too. I'm a big Joss Whedon fan. My Buffy, Angel, and Firefly are like the bee's knees to me. I will say, I know, I agree. It's a shame that those are not still airing.
Yeah. Buffy season 8 though, right?
Yeah.
Comics.
Dude, I started reading them. Epic. So yeah, I mean, I had the same sort of feelings. It was like, first off, can we say Nathan Fillion? That dude is a star.
Nathan Fillion is the new Bruce Campbell.
That guy. Every time I see that guy do something, it baffles me that I don't see him everywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the guy walks on camera, and you're like,
he's got that Harrison Ford thing where he can be funny and not lose his sort of
machismo.
Hero, machismo. Yes.
Thank you.
Wow, you said a word that means something.
I have a lot of microphone.
Good for you, bro.
It doesn't demasculate, demasculize him.
Right.
Emasculate.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I've had a few drinks.
You made a word.
We had it with me over here with machismo.
So, and also Neil Patrick Harris. I mean, talk about a guy who, we saw as the guy who's like, oh wow, Neil Patrick Harris is in Starship Troopers. That's so funny. He was Doogie Howser. And now it's like, I love that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just so
Have you
great.
seen his new commercial? Has anybody seen his new commercial? Isn't it funny?
No, what?
Where
the Old Spice one that you were
Yeah,
talking
the
about?
Old Spice one. He's walking along and he's like, I'm a doctor on TV, so you should listen to me. And he's doing everything wrong. I'm not gonna do it very well, but you should see it. It's very funny.
Everybody go YouTube.
You're an actor in commercials, right?
Yeah, Dan, you direct commercials, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, let's not have an embarrassing off here. All of a sudden, it's like, really? Here's your home phone number. I don't know why they're snapping like the Sharks and Jets. Or Sharks? I don't know.
Jets,
Something.
yeah, Sharks and Jets.
Sharks and Jets, yeah, okay. So, I mean, go see it. I'm excited that there's going to be more.
Well, can you still get them?
You can download it on
download
iTunes. It costs money, and there will be a DVD. I'm buying it on DVD the second it comes out because I want to see all the commentaries.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be hysterical.
There's also a Captain Hammer webcomic that the writer, Jed Whedon, his brother or something, co-wrote it or wrote it, and he did the webcomic, and I'm pretty sure that's for free, so you can read that, and that's actually really funny. So
cool.
Yeah.
So before we head out, we did want to talk a little more Comic-Con news. There was a TV show that we just want to touch on because we're all Alan Ball fans.
Yes, 6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under.
FTW.
American Beauty.
American Beauty. Yeah, although not so much for me, but that's okay. Huge 6 Feet Under fan, and so he's doing a show for HBO about vampires called True Blood. Now, have you guys? Anybody here went to the panel and saw the preview?
Yeah.
A couple very.
The Alan Ball fans are very polite.
They are. I did see that panel. Thank you.
They're all very sad and
and
Thinking
emo.
about maybe dying someday, and it's depressing.
It's horrible. Horrible. Dude, the Dharma Initiative just got here.
Oh.
What's up, boys? Wait, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Nobody look.
Are they Dharma or are they others?
I don't know. They're from the Swan. It's horrible. Now we're the Lost panel.
So Dan, you saw the preview.
yeah,
We didn't get to see it.
We didn't actually get to see the preview, but Dan, you saw the preview.
Never leave Hall H. No, I'm just kidding. It was not in Hall H. It looks pretty awesome. You know, it's vampires, but taken as if it's like Watchmen with vampires almost. It's like vampires exist.
Yeah.
They're not hidden. People know about them. It's based on a series of books too that were quite popular.
The idea is that they come out with a synthetic blood,
Yeah.
which makes vampires not have to feed on humans anymore. If they don't have to feed on humans anymore,
I just saw a movie
I
that
think
was
everything's
about
cool.
that.
Anna Paquin is the lead, and she's plays a psychic. So people have powers.
It's like telekinesis like that?
Exactly, just like that.
You're a pusher. Oh, we forgot to talk about push.
Push, I know.
That's right.
That's what we loved. I love
amazing.
that. So it looks great. It's sort of, 6 Feet Under, I did not like the first episode. And this seems like the kind of show that I would need to grow on me. I didn't walk out of there loving it, but
Well, Alan Ball
looks
to me
great.
is one of those guys, the guys from Deadwood did John from Cincinnati, and I was like, well, I should see it because I like the beginning. I like the first season of Deadwood, but not really anything after that. So I should see it. But for me, Alan Ball, if he's doing a series for HBO again, I want to see it because I got so into 6 Feet Under by the end. And for me, Alan Ball plus vampires and HBO in.
Yeah, HBO
exactly.
series. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's move on.
ready, guys?
Okay, so-
All right, we're doing. You guys having fun?
All right. Diane.
What? The guy said no. What?
This girl in the back was like, I don't know.
My boyfriend dragged me here.
I don't know. I wandered in. I thought this was about antiquing. So,
I thought it was the
next time-
totally Brad show with the Brads that you attach to the thing. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna talk comics a little bit. We actually have the iFanboy guys here. You guys, everybody loves iFanboy. Best show about comics on the internet, ours included, because I'm embarrassed with them in the room to admit that I never read any Spirit comics. Right, and we got the movie coming out, and
Ooh, I read them. No, I'm just kidding.
My name is Will.
none of us read, and these guys already embarrassed me, so. So we thought with the movie coming out that we should bone up on some Spirit comics. Unfortunately, I can't even say bone anymore.
I think Dan giggled. And then that made me giggle.
So evidently the Will Eisner awesome Spirit old comics are really, really expensive.
Yeah.
And that's what I understand. So we went with the Darwin Cook version, which came out recently.
Oh,
Yeah.
iFanboy, they good.
Ron
they
Richards
good.
approves.
All right, good.
Actually,
Ron actually
what really
recommended it.
happened is
Yeah.
we were at dinner with Ron, and we said, what Spirit comic should we read? And he went.
He said, "At that Will Eisner, Darwin Cook."
And he after he gave a long sigh of like, you guys haven't read the Spirit. Then he recommended the Darwin Cook. So we went out and bought the hardcover of the 6 issues that Darwin Cook did, the first 6 issues he did. And if you guys don't know, the Spirit, what's going on actually tonight is the award, the biggest comic book award is called the Will Eisner Award because this guy invented the Spirit and he was one of the first superheroes. And he's kind of not really a super, he doesn't really have Superman kind of superpowers, but
It's like Batman.
yeah, it's more like Batman, yeah. But it's almost tongue-in-cheek kind of. He solves crimes is a badass, but it's funny at the same time.
Yeah, in a very sort of snarky 50s way.
So none of us had
funny,
any experience with it, and it's interesting that we're starting with not the originals, but a creator who took that character and, according to Ron and a lot of people who are fans of the Spirit, really created an authentic version that is also kind of modernized and set in now, or kind of a timeless now with cell phones and stuff.
And the big now, I looked that up on Wikipedia, much like Matthew Good did about Watchmen.
Good, that's awesome.
But you know, the big deal with the Spirit was what? I mean, I think it was that he sort of created the splash page, and it sort of broke out from the just like comic strip panels.
Yeah, he's sort of famous for incorporating the Spirit logo in these big splash
like
pages.
Fincher did in a Panic Room kind of thing.
Okay.
I think he got it from Fincher.
It's always about movies for you, Dan. So what did you think? What did you think?
I liked it. It was pleasant. It was a pleasant read. It's
Really?
It wasn't
Got 500
about,
people in this
about
room, and you're like,
emo Canadian kid. So Dan didn't like it.
it really reminded me of.
It takes a second.
it does.
I actually don't get that.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
It reminded me of like Dick Tracy.
Sure.
Don't necessarily mean that in a negative way. I just mean that sort of tonally. And ironically, we saw the panel for the movie, and the movie really reminds me of Dick Tracy as well, with the sense of humor and the lightness. You know.
That's interesting.
And
You mean Dick Tracy, the movie, the one with Madonna and
Warren Beatty, yeah.
Which I love that movie, by the way. That was one of the best McDonald's collectibles. Was with that movie, the best like game, like you gotta get like a weird Al Pacino. Anyway, sorry. I just that.
I don't know.
It's all
Mom,
McDonald's to me.
My Big Mac has a weird Al Pacino in it.
It was kind of funny here and there and enjoyable to read. I didn't not like it like I do a lot of Man in Tights books, even though he's not a Man in Tights. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you want to read more or no?
Not really. I'm sated.
Ron M. Cry.
Sorry, bro.
Sorry, Ron. Get ready to M cry again.
What do you think?
It's Alex.
Shlomo?
You know, honestly, I mean, it's almost verbatim what Dan was. I mean,
There wasn't a lot of verb to aid him.
Yeah. Okay. So just ate him of what Dan did.
And our episode
it
has
was
a title.
like, you know, I think maybe it was trying to be a little too, like an homage or fromage. Or
Was that a
however you say
Jew
that.
joke? Because Will Eisner's Jewish?
No. How was that? I don't even know. That what?
The
Yes, that was what it was. Is that really the louder microphone?
There's a trap door.
It's not Russian roulette.
Like Russian. Yeah.
All right, so
Anyway,
you didn't love.
So I didn't love it. I thought it was a little bit trying to be like too much like a throwback to sort of like, you know, everything's like say what you are doing and sort of like wait, duck, and you know that kind of stuff. And but that's it. So I didn't connect with that in the comic, but I will say I really enjoyed that in the Frank Miller trailer. And that's really weird to me.
Like, look at the can of worms someone's just opened.
Yeah, I guess so. Like to me, I was reading the book and I was like, oh, I see. It's sort of tongue-in-cheeky and stuff like that. And then when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that's really, it's like tongue-in-cheeky.
So the movie that's coming out is actually directed by Frank Miller,
Right.
the comic
Who
book artist.
invented graphic novels. Like
Pretty
it's
much,
like,
yeah, pretty
they
much.
kind of like if Will Eisner was experimental about the way comics were back then, Frank Miller was the guy who sort of did that again now.
Sure, yeah. And I loved the Darwin Cook Spirit. Yeah. I loved it. I highly recommend it. I was really felt bad that I hadn't read it before and want to go back and read the Will Eisner stuff if it's anything like this. I love that it's that old-time serialized. We come in on like Indiana Jones, which also borrows from the same tradition. That we come in on our hero and he's already in peril. We come in on an adventure that's halfway done, and we're right in there. And each issue is, while there are plot points that carry over from issue to issue, each issue is a complete story, is a complete adventure that is thrilling. And you know, there's a lot of modern criticism of comics that says that nothing happens issue to issue, that stories are too drawn out. And you really realize that they used to be complete stories every issue. A huge idea was presented every time you bought an issue, rather than these 6-issue arcs, which I don't personally have a problem with.
Like season 4 of Lost versus.
Well, I'm not complaining about that, but I think it's cool to
that's...
see the other side.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I snuck a peek at the old Will Eisner stuff, and it is very similar. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But having said that, it makes me really not like what I saw
I
from
did
the
not
Frank
like
Miller movie
Winter.
trailer. Did anybody see that? The Frank Miller? Did you guys?
Great stuff. What'd you think?
Good? Yeah? Anybody think it was bad? Yeah. It's very interesting. It looks like Sin Spirit, right?
Sin Spirit.
Yeah.
Well, but that's
It's in color. It's in color though.
It is?
I can't get into that. What?
It's in color?
Yeah.
The movie?
Didn't you
were
see
It's
you
got
watching?
red.
Well, it's got colors.
It doesn't have a blue. It doesn't have a blue suit for the Spirit. He's in black.
No, there were
It's in
colors.
color. Yeah, there's colors.
How
It's in
much?
color.
Yeah.
There's like scenes.
I believe her over you.
Oh.
Wait, what?
I worked Hall 8. It's in color.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. She worked Hall 8.
She was there. Never leave Hall H.
Never leave Hall H.
I just can't get into the style, dude. I can't get into, and that's props to Zack Snyder because he shoots things very similarly, but he does a little extra to make it awesome. But the Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, the Sin City, I just feel very disconnected. Everything's square, and people are just obviously not there in the rooms. And I just can't get. I don't. Get
I
it.
love Sin City, but I don't feel like this. It looks like more Sin City. It doesn't seem right for
The
this.
Spirit didn't remind me of Dick Tracy. It reminded me of The Shadow,
Oh,
which I did not like.
I did not like.
You loved it though, Avi. I remember. Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
You don't remember. So
We were both very
Alright, so
excited for it growing
Spirit-
up. Yeah.
Spirit comic,
Not so much,
but for me, 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
Love it.
All right,
Love it.
that's it for comics.
Too soon. Too soon with 2 thumbs up. Too soon.
So yes, this is a break in the program. Before we get back to the rest of the live show, we did want to thank our sponsors, Squarespace.com. Squarespace.com, if you haven't checked it out, it's a place to maintain your entire website.
You haven't stopped talking about this since you found out about it.
This
You
thing
love it.
Bloggles my mind. So basically, it's this amazing WYSIWYG editor, but it's so robust, this WYSIWYG editor. I mean, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
That's what you see is what you get for the uninitiated.
Boom, WYSIWYG, baby. You can basically program your entire website in this visual way, but not only that, it generates the HTML and CSS code on the back end, so it's not a proprietary format. So when you're done, your site looks like any site, all in it, blah, blah, blah. And they do this thing where it's like proof of concept stuff. They knock off other websites to show how easy it is to do it. So they did like Google or Yahoo Movies, and they were like, yeah, it took us 45 minutes to make it exactly like Yahoo Movies.
Amazing.
Amazing stuff. Not only that, exclusive to the TRS fan base, you can get 10% off the life of your website at Squarespace, which is huge. 10% off the life of your website. All you have to do is put in the promo code TRS, squarespaces.com.
Awesome.
Love it.
GameV, if you're into video games as much as we are, GameV is the place to go to see game-related videos. You can upload your videos, you can watch other people's videos. If there's a tough thing that only you can get by, or a tough thing that only you can do in a game, put it on GameV. If there's something you want to see how to do, search for it on GameV. It's the place to be for game-related videos. And we all have accounts. Mine is Jeff TRS,
I think so.
and yours is...
Alex Albrecht.
And yours is Dan
TRS.
Yeah.
Nice.
So check out GameV.com. We're a little hungover today, but
I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Come on, Dan.
I'm what this is. GoDaddy.com is your one-stop shop for all your web hosting needs. Domains, $1.99 domains, right? That's the big deal.
As low as $1.99.
So you can get domains as low as $1.99. What else do they have there at GoDaddy?
easy startup software.
Easy startup software.
Hosting options. You can
Hosting
get
options.
you can get long-term deals or short-term deals, and they have privacy stuff.
Yeah, long-term deals, short-term deals, and they have privacy stuff. So head over to GoDaddy.com, put in the promo code TRS1, and get 10% off your order.
Get some deal skis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10% off your order.
Back to the show. Well, people, it's about that time. Did you guys have fun?
Alex,
Yes, Jeff.
Alex, you know that the show may be over on the web, but the
Yes.
show is not over for the peeps that showed up at Comic-Con.
No, the show goes on, people.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, in lieu of an email question this week, we're actually gonna do a Q&A here, which you guys at home on the web will actually not see until like next week or something. But for a second there, you were crapping your pants.
Can we?
I love it. I actually hope that somebody actually does have like agita, a little like. Oh man, I wanted to. Rascal.
Can we? Before we end, can we say thank you to a couple people?
Dude,
Yes.
thank you to, first off, everybody for coming. Are you kidding me? First TRS live show. First live show.
Dude, you know what? We have a freaking star-studded audience in addition to
Yes.
the awesome fans that came out. I already mentioned iFanboy. Dr. Tiki is here.
Dr. Tiki. Love it.
Speaking of star-studded, I'm just curious, is Tad Stones, is he in the audience?
He had to go. Tad Stone. Okay. Dude, is it?
Tad Stones.
Yeah.
I met him at the Hellboy thing, one of the Hellboy things we did, but he did the Hellboy animated series, and if this sounds familiar to you, Ch-ch-ch-ch-Band-Tails.
Rescue Rangers, Ch-ch-ch-Band-Tails.
Where there's danger. Dude.
He's responsible.
Darkwing Duck.
And Darkwing Duck.
We were working up to that.
Created our childhood. Dude, we met this guy and he was like, oh, I love the show. And we were like, oh, dude, you do Hellboy. That's so great. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And we're just like talking and all of a sudden he's like, well, you know, I mean, I worked for Disney for a little while. And I was like, oh, great. And he's like, yeah, you know, I mean, well, I don't know. I created this little Disney thing called Darkwing Duck. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I was like, I love Darkwing. I was like,
Glasses are shattering.
I know. They were like, how high can that man's voice go? And I was like, Darkwing Duck!
Is Robert Venditti still here by any chance? Is he here? Did he come? Robert
Vin
Venditti?
Diesel? Oh!
Okay, the surrogates. That guy
wrote the surrogates.
If you're about to get hard,
Love it.
Jay.
Not only that, but I don't even know if we're allowed to say this, but he's working on a prequel to the Surrogates. Are we allowed to say that?
He's like,
I just said it.
No, but
I went
then-
crazy.
That's what this is all about. I'm gonna flip this table and say some stuff about X-Men.
Also, if you guys have enjoyed all the stuff we've done when we've gone to like Star Wars convention or
Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Trek
When
experience.
Steve's editing the show, we need someone to take his place,
Yes.
and that is Meg Campbell.
Meg Campbell.
Yeah.
Steve.
Girl,
And San Diego Rocket Race.
She's gonna be doing a show called Girl Hack at some point. So
Yes.
girlhack.com, right?
and
Girlhack.com.
she's single.
Yeah, we've been told to say she's single.
We got a text from
So-
our PR lady.
Please don't all jump at once because
Ooh.
we will kill you.
Hey.
She's our girl.
Also, I just feel like, we have so many people that write in the forums, and there's a lot of them here, like Tazu for You and Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
But also our forum mother and her son.
Our mascot.
Anakin.
Our show mascot.
Yeah. Love it. Say hi.
He is awesome.
They've come a long way to see the show, and we couldn't be happier.
here.
So many people
Comic-Con.
came so long. I mean, it's so crazy. If the people come so far to see this, and Comic-Con's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that meant.
That's awesome. Let's do it.
It was from the heart. because
Let's start the
it
Q&A.
made sense.
Let's end the show and do
we gotta end the
That
show.
is it for this week's. What
What do we say?
do you say? What are you saying?
Well, we
MySpace?
say that you can visit us at totallyradshow.com.
That's fine. We got that, Steve.
We're gonna be fine.
TotallyRadShow.com. We'll be fine. I'm making it happen.
What?
Jinx.
I'm doing magic stuff. Jinx, the Jinx guys are here.
Oh!
Dude, stand up, Jinxies.
Where are
They
they?
here?
Yay! Jinx.com, people. Jinx.com. Love
I know
you
we're
guys.
forgetting someone.
Love you guys.
TRS.
So jinx.com/TRS for us. All right, that's it for this week's edition of the Totally Rad Show. Why is Steve scared? Don't worry, we got it covered, bro.
Oh, also next
I love
week.
you.
Next week we're doing the new Mummy movie.
What? Oh, right, we're doing a new Mummy movie.
So
Really?
Boy, everybody's all excited. Everybody loves
It'll
the
be a
Mummy
really
movie.
enjoyable review. The first Mummy. Who here likes the first Mummy movie?
Thank you. Suck it. 6-month-old is cooing in the back.
Who here walked out of the first Mummy movie?
This guy. That guy.
Oh, I like this little kid in the back is like, I did. What are we talking about?
All right. Oh, myspace.com/TRR Totally Rad Show.
All right. Can we get to the Q&A? These people need to ask us stuff.
Thank you for watching this.
That's it for this week's edition of the Totally Rad Show. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Kanata.
I'm Dan Trachtman.
And that's
Until next time.
Steve.
And that's Steve. Until next time, stay rad, San Diego. We're in San Diego!
I would like to point out, just for a second, just a second. This scene has been my dream
since we first started doing this show. Yes. So thank you. Okay. Please listen.
That's fucked up. Say it again.
I effed up.
Hey. Okay, here we go.
My acting was off the charts. Off the charts.
I'll be the judge of that. All right, here we go.
We say, you're all different. Yes, we're all different. And then one voice says, I'm not. Anakin. I would love it. You're all different.
Yes, we're all different.
Not me.
Awesome.
Anakin.
Perfect. We're going to do it one more time.
Anakin's gonna grow up to be me.
It's a sad, sad commentary. Okay.